Good morning, everyone. I continue to talk on this text, opening the hand of thought. In my record, this is 241st talk on this book. We have not so many pages left, but it takes for a while. Anyway, today I'm going to talk on page 144, if we have this text. I'd like to talk on two paragraphs. Let me read these two paragraphs. Buddhism emphasizes two principles of life: impermanence, mujo, and that all phenomena are the result of causation and are without permanent or independent substance, engi shojo. In other words, the reality of life changes from moment to moment, and there is no unchanging substance. Since antiquity, people have said that a diamond cannot be destroyed and have used it as a symbol of absolute permanence. But in fact, a diamond is simply a compressed carbon, which is combustible. Furthermore, modern science has shown that elementary particles are always changing. Everything is constantly changing. The reality of the impermanence that we awaken to is satori, or realization. Yet some people aim at shooting down and carting home a ready-made satori, or enlightenment, like some kind of trophy. It's impossible. The only true enlightenment is awareness of the vivid reality of life, moment by moment. So we practice enlightenment right now, right here, in every moment. This attitude is expressed in the phrase, practice and enlightenment are one, or shusho ichi nyo. It is an essential point of Dogen Zenji's teaching, not to obtain enlightenment as a result of practice, but to be vividly aware and to open the hand of thought from moment to moment, because it is our thought that blinds us. You should understand this true enlightenment of Buddha Dharma. Enlightenment is not like a sudden realization of something mysterious. Enlightenment is nothing but awakening from illusions and returning to the reality of life. Some people in this room have been practicing Zazen during this session. And so you know what Dogen is, not Dogen, but Uchiyama Roshi is talking. He's talking about Zazen. And the title of this section of this talk is Practice Buddha Dharma only for the sake of Buddha Dharma. And in the case of Zazen, practice Zazen only for the sake of Zazen, not to for some benefit to this person who is sitting. Here in this paragraph, in the first paragraph, he started about the fundamental principle or very basic teaching of Buddha or Buddhism. That is, he said two things. One is impermanence, and the other is that all phenomena are the result of causation and are without permanent or independent substance. These two are part of the four Dharma seal. Seal is my translation. Original Sanskrit is Dharma Mudra. And in Japanese is in. Dharma is ho, so, ho, in. Four Dharma seals, or shiho in Japanese. Those are four basic teaching of Buddha or Buddhism. If we find those 4 points in someone's teaching, we can call that teaching is Buddhism. Otherwise, it cannot be called Buddhism or Buddhist teaching. And those four is, first is everything is suffering or dukkha. And second is impermanence. That is mujo. And the third is no self, anatman. Nothing is substance. And fourth is nirvana. So Uchiyama is talking about these second and third. And my interpretation of these four Dharma seals is, this is reality of our life or reality of everything. That is impermanence, nothing stays forever. Everything is constantly changing. And because all phenomenal things are collection of causes and conditions, so nothing is substantial because everything is moving and changing. When something changes, I have to change. That is, so there's no fixed independent self that can exist without relation with others. Those two are the basic reality. And I think, if we don't know or if we don't awake to this reality, then that means if we live based on the idea of something that doesn't change or permanent, and there is some fixed self, me, then our life, everything in our life becomes suffering. Everything means really everything. We experience something good and something bad, or something positive or negative. In this case, both are included within suffering. So this doesn't mean all our experience is really bad or terrible. If everything is terrible, then we have no choice. But we have something positive and negative. That 5 negative things become suffering. If there is no good or positive situation or condition, there's no suffering. So in this case, when it said everything is suffering, our happiness or joy, all those success, all those things are together with opposite things, and we cannot control. Sometimes we can be successful, but more often we cannot be successful. So, and we cannot control, we cannot achieve everything we wish. Even we become successful, but right after we feel my life is okay, we have fear that we may lose this success. So we have to always run after something or escape from something, and also compete with other people because other people want to get what I have. So when Buddha said everything is suffering, this structure of positive and negative, and these are changing, and we cannot control. That is what everything suffering means. If we ignore or if we are blind to these two realities of impermanence and no self. And when we awaken to this reality that we cannot be the person who controls things, because things are always interconnected with others, then to compete with others and become successful cannot be the purpose of our life, but more like a sharing with other people, because we are supported by all beings. We try to support, offer something. So the, in a sense, purpose of our life is changed. In that case, our activity, our action is not moved by our three poisonous mind: greed, anger, or hatred, and ignorance. Ignorance means to be ignorant to the reality of impermanence and no self. So this is really basic teaching. And what Uchiyama Roshi is talking about, to awaken to this reality of impermanence and no self, is important, not important, but essential to Buddhist teachings. And he says, in other words, the reality of life, this is reality of life, changes from moment to moment, always changing. And there is no unchanging substance. We are also changing. And he talks about two kind of examples. One is diamond. Diamond in Sanskrit is Vajra. Vajra in Vajrayana. And there is a famous sutra that is called Diamond Sutra. In this case, this diamond, Vajra, refer to or modify the prajna paramita, this wisdom. This wisdom is like a diamond which cut all the delusions. And this diamond cannot be cut by anything, cannot be destroyed by anything. So in this case, Vajra or diamond is a symbol of not something that cannot be destroyed. So it sounds like a permanent. And that is a meaning of Vajra or diamond. But today we know, diamond is simply a crystal of carbon, and it was made inside of the earth, so it can be burned, and we can, today, we can make a man-made diamond. That means we can also destroy it. So even diamond or Vajra is not permanent. And also we know, the elementary particles, that is inside the atom. I think in the ancient times, atom means something which cannot be divided anymore. But today we know, atom can destroy. So we know better than Dogen or Shakyamuni Buddha that everything is changing, nothing stays forever. But somehow we want to find something which doesn't change, because things changing cannot be reliable. So we find something permanent, something which doesn't change. That is kind of our desire, and also it came from the nature of our thinking. When we think, we need to use concept. Concept, for example, nirvana. This is a concept. And when we think and talk about nirvana, we need this is fixed. If nirvana when I talk, and if nirvana when you talk are different, then there's no way to communicate. So we suppose that word and the concept of nirvana, I think and you think are the same thing. Otherwise, there's no way to, to communicate. Or when I call this reading glasses, I suppose everything knows this is a reading glasses. These are reading glasses. That's why I can, when I talk in English, I call this reading glass, and I expect if all of you knows what this is. And in this case, the concept nirvana and also a concept a pair of reading glasses doesn't change, and all people know share, but that is not true. That's why we have argument. We have, conflict. So what Uchiyama Roshi is saying is we cannot see the true reality of life, that is impermanent and no self, nothing substance. As far as we are thinking using our mind, especially using conceptual thinking. So what Uchiyama Roshi is saying is letting go, open the hand of thought. That is our zazen. So he said, the reality of the impermanence that we awaken to is Satori. I think this translation is twisted. I think more literal translation Uchiyama Roshi is saying is awakening to the reality of the impermanence is Satori. It's not reality in this translation. Reality is Satori. But I think Uchiyama Roshi is saying awakening to this reality is Satori, or realization. Awakening to the reality of impermanence and no self. To do so, we have to awaken to this reality, because this reality is not fixed. If we think these dharma seals, these truth, therefore these are not, doesn't change, then we miss this. Even impermanence is changing, and no self is also changing. So we have to keep awakening to the reality of here and now. If we grasp impermanence and no self as a concept, then that is another problem. So we have to let go or open our hand even to these word or concept of impermanence or no self. And that is not possible by our thinking. Whatever way we think that reality is impermanent and no self, that is thinking, still thinking. And in this thinking, impermanence is something fixed, and no self is also something fixed. So we cannot negate the concept or thinking by thinking. So only thing we can do is really let go of thought, or opening the hand of thought without grasping, without even thinking everything is impermanent and there is no self. If we are sitting and thinking everything is impermanent, when I was young, I often did it. I kind of repeat what I studied in the text, and I feel I understand what is said. And that this kind of understanding what Buddhist text said, if we think about that during Zazen, that has nothing to do with Zazen or true real reality of impermanence and no self. This can be done only by letting go of thought, stop thinking. That is another problem. How can we stop thinking? Some people think stop thinking, that means eliminating all thought is enlightenment. But that is another problem. That is what Uchiyama Roshi is saying here. That the reality of the impermanence that we awaken to, or awakening to the reality of impermanence, is Satori. Yet some people aim at shooting down and cutting home a ready-made Satori, something fixed. We always want to have something fixed, and we can grasp, and we feel, now I get it. But he said that is delusion. A ready-made Satori or enlightenment, like some kind of trophy, because that is our kind of common pattern of our doing something. When we do something, we feel something is lacking. And I want to get that thing, even though that thing can be enlightenment or Satori, or even this reality. Then we think Zazen or sitting meditation is a method to gain that thing. It's really common understanding. If there's no such kind of starting point and goal and the things we have to do, if we think the goal is really good thing, we can practice or work, even it's very hard. But Uchiyama Roshi is talking, our Zazen is not such a kind of a method or means to get some so-called enlightenment or satori, because satori is simply being here and now. That is a problem. That is so. This practice is really difficult because we cannot behave our kind of usual pattern of our actions. We always have some goal or purpose, and that means I am not good, or the condition here and now is not good. Therefore, I want to make it better, make myself better, or make the situation better. Therefore, I work. And that is really a way we take actions. But in the case of Buddha Dharma, Buddha Dharma cannot be the things we can catch or gain, because Buddha Dharma is, or we are the part of Buddha Dharma. So Buddha Dharma cannot be the object of our desire. But somehow, when we read Buddhist text, and I think, if I think, enlightenment is great, then naturally I feel I want to get that thing. And we find, meditation is a method to gain enlightenment. Therefore, we start to practice. I think that is for almost every one of us, that is the kind of a motivation we start to study Dharma and practice, in our case, Zazen. So, but when we started to study and teach, we had, this kind of thing, and this disturbs us. But this is, in a sense, kind of acupuncture needle. We have to realize or understand that our motivation is a problem. Our pattern of actions, activities is a problem. And I think it takes many years to find that is a problem. In the beginning, we try to get that thing and make effort. And after some years, we find that it's not possible. Then we think this doesn't work, so many people quit. And I think that is very natural. But somehow, even we encounter that kind of a dead end, that my motivation to practice is a problem, then we cannot, go forward. And yet, somehow, we cannot stop it. That is a very difficult situation. Somehow, this pattern of our human activity should be turned around. That means, for example, when I became about 50, I started to have pain on my knees and lower back. So as a kind of a treatment, I started to walk. walking can be a good thing, I thought. So I walked because I want to improve my physical condition. But when I'm aging, walking doesn't work in that way. Even I continue to walk, the physical condition is getting worse. But somehow I found, especially for now, now I cannot sit anymore. So as a meditation, I walk. I try to walk every day, go to Y and walk about 1 hour. Now, for me, walking is not something good to improve my physical condition, but walking is itself good. It's not good for something, but it's good for nothing. And that is fine, because I can enjoy. That is the way our, kind of a common usual pattern of our activity to do something in order to gain something, achieve something. That is turn around. And just doing here and now is enjoyable. Therefore, we do. So just sit for the sake of just sitting. To do so, things that should be changed is not something outside, but we have to turn around ourselves. Then we can find a joy right there. So in the next paragraph, what Uchiyama Roshi is saying is very essential point of Dogen's teaching. That is, I always talk Shusho Uchiyama. Shu is practice, and Sho is a verification. Verification is one of the verification, or Sho is one of the words that refer to enlightenment or satori. And Ichinyo means one reality or identical. There are a few Chinese words that can refer to enlightenment or satori, and Sho is one of them. Other well-known word is Kaku. And Go. Those three, Sho, Kaku, Go, can be read in Japanese as satori, but connotation are different. In the case of Kaku, this is the opposition of what is the opposition? Oh, yume. Dream. Or sleeping. So Kaku is awakening from the dream or from the sleeping. When we are sleeping and having a dream, we cannot see the reality. But when we awake, we can see the reality as it is clearly. That is one meaning of Kaku or Satori, that is awakening. And in this case, Go. This is the opposition of Mei. Or Mayoi in Japanese. Usually this may is translated into English as a delusion or illusion. But this may is not the condition, not delusion or illusion itself, but more like a result of elusive or delusive thinking. Mayo means we are lost, we are lost. When we want to go somewhere and we don't know how to get there, and we lost our way. That is mayo. So we don't know how to get there. So this goal is to clearly know where we are going, which direction we should go. But if we lost that direction, we are lost. We don't know where we are going. That is a condition of mayoi or mei. And in the case of sho, this is an opposition of shu, not an opposition, but pair with shu. Shu is practice, and sho is sho literally means evidence or proof. That means shu is a cause, practice is cause, and enlightenment is a result of practice. As a result of practice, we find this is true. So a common meaning of shusho is a cause and result. And this is abbreviation of longer experience, that is mon, shi, mon, shi, shu, sho. This is a kind of a process of our study and practice. Mon is hearing or listening to someone's teaching, in this case, Buddha's teaching. And she is thinking. When we hear some Buddha's teaching, we think whether this teaching can be true or can be doable to me. And if we think this teaching is reasonable and doable to me, I put this teaching into practice. And through our practice, that is our experience, personal experience, we find that teaching was true. That is what verification means, verify the teaching. So usually, shusho is a process of study and practice. So cause and result. First, we need to practice. Then, as a result of practice, through our personal experience, I know what Buddha taught is true. That is what sho means. That is a common understanding of shusho as a cause and result. But when Dogen Zenji said, shu and sho are one or identical, means cause and result are identical. That means within cause, result is already there. And beside cause, there's no result. So we don't, what Dogen is saying here is, we don't need to wait until we graduate from practice to verify what Buddha taught is true. But right within our practice, in this case, Zazen practice, verification is already there. We don't need to wait in the future. So there's no starting point, and goal and process to reach there as a practice. But for whichever position point we are, we just be there and letting go of thought or opening the hand of thought. The verification or realization is right there, because we are from the beginning, we are part of this, the total function of Buddha Dharma. That means interconnectedness. Even, before we are born, or wherever we are, whatever condition we are right within this network of interdependence. So when we let go of our ego-centered, self-centered idea, and that is what we do in our Zazen. So within this sitting, this reality of impermanence and no self is there. So our practice is not, or the goal of our practice is not eliminating our ego-centered idea. Because when we are sitting and letting go, we are free from this self-centered idea. We don't take any action based on our self-centeredness. So Zazen is its self-verification. We don't need to wait until we practice a certain number of years, then we can find it. That is not Kosho Uchiyama, but whatever condition we are, just sit and letting go, then verification is there. But the problem is, in our Zazen, we can be there. But when we stand up and get out of the Zendo, we return to thinking and discrimination, and to do so, some degree of self-centeredness cannot be avoided. So we have to return to the world of thinking and making distinction or discrimination. In order to make choice, we have to make distinction and think which is right or correct or good and which is not good. So, we have to discriminate. And, our transformation, in the case of Buddha, this transformation is very thorough. So after he attained Buddhahood, so-called enlightenment, his 5 skandhas, his body and mind, function as Buddha's body and mind. But we are still a very immature baby bodhisattva. So our self-centeredness is, kind of same as ordinary people's, even though we are bodhisattvas. So that's why, even though enlightenment is right here and now when we are sitting, we have to continue to practice moment by moment. That is what Uchiyama Roshi is saying in the next paragraph. He says, the only true enlightenment is awareness, this is the awakening, of the vivid reality of life moment by moment, here and now. So we practice enlightenment right now, right here, in every moment. So we have to practice moment by moment, continuously. This attitude is expressed in the phrase, practice and enlightenment are one, or Kosho Uchiyama. It is an essential point of Dogen Zenji's teaching, not to obtain enlightenment as a result of practice. So practice and result of practice are not two separate things. This practice is already result. And without practice, there's no such result. But to be vividly aware and to open the hand of thought. This is the place I use this expression, opening the hand of thought. And I don't think this is a good English. Opening the hand of thought doesn't make any sense in English. But I don't like the common English expressions such as letting go of thought. Because Uchiyama Roshi, kind of coined this expression in Japanese. Omoi no tebanashi. Omoi is thinking. Or sometimes Uchiyama Roshi used atama. Atama literally means head. That means brain. That is thinking. No, te is hand. And hanasu is let go, open our hand. Then Uchiyama, when he used this expression, omoi no tebanashi, he always grasped his pair of eyeglasses and opened his hand, then glasses fall down. This expression came from not his verbal expression and also his kind of active expression in his action. When he opened his hand, then the thing which is grasped is fall down. And he said, when we think something good or bad or like and dislike, we grasp that thing. But when we open our hand, that thing fall down and our hand is empty. This is what omoi no tebanashi or atama no tebanashi or opening the hand of thought means. So, Tom Wright, who is a co-translator of this book, didn't like this opening the hand of thought. So he wanted to eliminate all this expression from this book. But I asked him to keep this only in this chapter. That's why this omoi no tebanashi, or opening the hand of thought, is here. And Jisho Wana was the editor of this book, and she chose this expression, opening the hand of thought, as a title of this book. It was kind of interesting to me. Opening the hand of thought doesn't mean anything, I think, to American people until they read this book and understand what Uchiyama Roshi meant. So it's kind of a very strange English. Especially Tom Wright wanted to translate Buddhist expressions in the, how can I say, most understandable English that American or Western people who don't know much Buddhist knowledge can understand. So, but I want to keep some kind of a Japanese taste. So we had always kind of a tension. Anyway, I was happy when opening the hand of thought became that title of this book. But probably Tom Wright didn't so much. Anyway, so I think this is a really important point of Uchiyama Roshi's teaching. So we have to open the hand of thought from moment to moment, because it is our thought that bind us and become illusory. You should understand this true enlightenment of Buddha Dharma. Enlightenment is not like a sudden realization of something mysterious. Something mysterious or something mystical beyond our thinking. If we think there's something beyond our thinking or mysterious or mystical thing there, and when we had some experience, we can see that thing, then that is not at least Uchiyama Roshi's understanding of Buddha Dharma. But Buddha Dharma is how we are, including our delusion. Enlightenment is nothing but awakening from illusions and returning to the reality of life, impermanence and no self here and now. And that reality cannot be the object of our sense organs, including thinking. When we think about impermanence and no self as an object of my thinking, then that is already, what is the word? Something fixed. And we lose the reality of impermanence. But impermanence is right here, what we are doing. I'm sure you are tired after session, and yet I really appreciate your effort to continue, this kind of a strange practice that is good for nothing. But I always said, this is good, but not for something, but good for nothing. This is good of itself, or as it is. Okay, this is what I have to say this morning. Any question or comments? Please.
I think when you were mentioning the word mayoi, I think a good English equivalent would be to go astray.
Go astray,
or
yeah.
wander.
Yeah.
To wander or go astray.
That is the literal meaning of mayoi. Yes, thank you. Anyone else?
Any questions from the gallery?
Yeah, there's one here. Go ahead. Tamir. Yeah, go ahead, Tamir.
Dear Hoja, just a moment. Dear Hoja San Sensei, thank you so much for the lecture. This is my first time that I'm actually watching you live, and I'm very, very thankful for that opportunity to you and the Sanshin Zen community. Thank you. I have a question related to this in the sense that I live in an isolated place on the island of Ireland on its north top, and can can one still speak of any kind of progress in practice if we are living in such an isolated place, away from practice center, but we at the same time have determinations, use materials online, follow them as we could, and if we prior to that have certain practice in different kinds of Buddhism, some of them being Theravada from Sri Lanka, Shingon, and Shin Buddhism. Is it, and other religions, in my case I was a monk in one of the Hindu religions. Now, is there any chance for me actually to grasp what I thought, what you were saying today, of opening and letting go of fixed and grasped thoughts and concepts as an isolated person, practitioner? Thank you so much.
Well, because our practice is letting go of thought instead of grasping or making some achievement, then I think you can practice by yourself even if you don't have Sangha or teacher. That is a good point of this practice. But it's kind of difficult to continue. So if possible, better to have a Sangha or a teacher. That is, other people's practice and teachers' teaching support our practice or our determination or aspiration to practice. But I think it's possible to practice by yourself. It's not impossible, but it's better, if possible, better to have a teacher and Sangha. That is also true. Okay?
Thank you, Roshi. Thank you.
In your talk, you mentioned the relationship between dream and then kak, kakugo, kak. My question is that if you realize that there is a dream, and then that's not the dream anymore.
Within dream?
If you realize that there is a dream, that dream is not a dream anymore.
If that awakening is within dream, or after awakening?
Yes, my question is that the person who enlightened, for example, you have a Zen center in Bloomington. Katagiri Roshi had a Zen center in Minneapolis. When they started, they have dream. So that means even those who are enlightened has a dream, but it's not attached. Is that the way to think?
Well, in that case, dream you mentioned means like a vision, isn't it? Or it's a deluded dream. You mean if you are talking about Katagiri Roshi, I don't think he was deluded within dream, but he had a vision for the future of Dharma or Zen practice in the United States. So I don't think his vision is a delusive dream.
The vision is also dream.
I think so. It's not here yet, but somehow we see a vision about the future. This, if we think that the vision is already achieved, then that is delusion. But to make effort moment by moment toward that direction. So in this case, this vision is a vow, bodhisattva vow, I think. So,
Aspiration. Aspiration.
aspiration,
So if the vision is the future,
Mm.
you think, you see, in Zen practice, you always emphasize here and now rather than future.
Right. But future, in a sense, the goal of our practice is become Buddha. If we think becoming Buddha is possible in sometime in the future, then that can be a delusion. But Buddhahood is a direction walking toward that direction moment by moment. Then that goal is not delusion, but it's a aspiration or motivation or energy to practice here and now.
So future is also now.
Yeah, within here and now, yes. Okay.
Okay, we have a question from Will.
I was just curious, if you remember, what were alternative titles for Opening the Hand of Thought?
This book is a collection of several materials, and the main part of this book is a translation of his book about Zazen practice, and the title of that book was Seimei no Jitsubutsu, that is reality of life. So that can be another possible title of this book, through reality of life. Okay?
Okay, thank you.
And how did Tom Wright want to translate Omoi no Tewanasi?
Letting go of thought.
Letting go of thought. Interesting.
Please.
It may be a little helpful. Many years ago, when I first saw the scroll in a temple, Zen temple that has Yume, I thought it was like, I have a dream, or American dream kind of dream. Then it took me a little while to understand that's a Buddhist term to recognize our life has dream-like quality. Because we think this is reality, but this is actually kind of made up by us. So therefore, it's a bit like a dream in sleep. So therefore, the life itself has a dream-like quality when it's not awakened. So, so it's really not talking about the dream as dream for I like to become firefighter when I grow up kind of dream. But it is really talking about awakening versus not awakened quality of life, which is like a dream-like.
I think in Buddhism there are the word dream is used in two ways. One is, as I said, delusion. We don't see the true reality, but we live within dream. But another interesting usage or meaning of this word dream in Buddhism is when we awake from that dream, we can see life is like a dream. It's really interesting. That is, for example, that is said in the very end of the Diamond Sutra. We should see all conditioned things, conditioned beings are like a dream, phantom, and so on. So when we awake, we see, everything is like a dream. So dream can be awakening, and also delusion. For example, Dogen Zenji wrote one fascicle of Shobo Genzo entitled what is the word? Muchu Setsumu, expounding dream within dream. We talk about dream, that we are in the dream. Is this dream still in dream or it is awakening? And Dogen said this is a good, positive thing. We are, not we, but even what Buddha did was expounding dream within dream. Okay. Please.
So it's like that great Buddhist classic, row, row, row your boat gently down the stream.
Yeah.
Life is but a dream.
Yes.
But you know, there's a, so the delusion is taking the dream as real. It's not the dream itself.
Mhm.
And
But awakening allows us to see that reality is like a dream.
it's like a dream. So there's a technique that people use. Actually, it's used in Tibetan Buddhism too, lucid dreaming, where you are aware that you're dreaming, and that gives you a certain empowerment over the dreaming, so you're not deluded by it. So simply recognizing the dream as a dream is not the end of the dream, because this is all a metaphor anyway, because nirvana is not something separate from samsara.
Sometimes I have experienced that within dream I know this is a dream.
Yeah, that's lucid dreaming.
Is this still dreaming or awakening? That's a good question. And I have no answer.
If you turn out to be a butterfly, you'll know.
Yeah. Okay, anything else, please?
Yeah, I always thought, opening hand, I thought you always envisioned opening the hand and the thought dissipating, but you were saying Uchiyama always opened his hand and something would drop, something solid. So I thought that was pretty interesting.
Good. Okay, anything else? Okay, thank you.